Hey guys, you're listening to the Your Party People podcast. This is Lexi Tran, owner of Ivory and Fern, a Midwest-based photographer.
And this is Katie Murphy, owner of Jane Ray Events, your Midwest wedding planner. We're here to give you couples a guide on how to maneuver one of the best days of their lives and how to keep it from being one of the worst. Welcome to the party.
Woo woo!
Hey guys, it's your party people, and we are on episode 17. Last time we talked about love languages, and today we're going to talk about booze.
Booze boys.
Booze, and how to handle the bar at your reception. Before we jump in, you guys, it's a very important day today. It is National No Bra Day.
No bra day. We're not saying we're not wearing bras right now. We're just saying today is the day to support your chest by not wearing a bra.
Yeah.
And to take a break.
Yeah, be free.
Bras are painful sometimes, let's be honest. It's okay. Just don't wear one today. It's fine.
Yes. Big celebratory day.
All right. And with that, so hopefully you decided to not wear your bra today. There are tons of different ways to plan out your bar situation at your reception. But we're going to try and narrow it down for you into a couple options that you could do. There are a lot of ways you can go with a bar, and I feel like people don't realize that there are different ways they can run the bar during their day.
Yeah, and this one's a lot of combinations of things. So really, if you guys want to take away from this, sounds a little crazy, but I would get out some notes and take notes or just listen to this because it's a lot of combinations and switching things around. So the first one will explain to you what cash bar versus hosted versus open bar. So the difference between all three of those. So cash bar is when guests just pay for the drinks themselves. You're not paying, you guys as a couple aren't paying anything, only your guests are. Hosted is when you as a couple or family, you pay for some of the items. So, and we'll get into some options there, and then open bar. Don't advertise it. Just let your guests find out that they don't have to pay for anything.
Right.
They get to take the shots, the martinis, the beer, the wine, whatever they want, and it is covered by you. How generous.
Wow.
And how dangerous.
Expensive.
Yes. So we'll lay out, after defining that, we'll lay out some options for you now. Lexi, you want to start us off with cash bar?
Yes, this is your safest option, I feel, one of the safest, right? So all it is your bar is there and people just go up and order their drink just like if you were downtown at a bar. They just are going to go and they're going to pay for it, or they're going to start their own tab. They're going to close it at the end of the night. Weddings are super expensive, and this is okay to want a cash bar. That was personally the choice I made, and this is why I made that choice. I have a group of friends, I can literally see them in my head right now, that I knew if I had an open bar, they would obliterate me, and I would be in debt from my wedding. I just knew. And so the safest option for us was that we did a cash bar. Also, another reason leading right from that, stemming right from those people, and they know who they are, is the control that it has. So when people know that they have to pay for their drinks, they're like, okay, I'm going to start with a couple, and then I'm going to see where the night takes me, and maybe I'll do 3 drinks, maybe 4, that kind of thing. Super safe option, super okay option. Doesn't really matter. A good point to make, too, is that a lot of venues, if they have a bar in them, have a bar minimum. And
right.
So sometimes a cash bar can be a good way to ensure, right, that you're going to meet your bar minimum because you know that everyone has to pay for their own drinks.
Right. That's true. And so another combination you can do is cash and hosted bar. So there are several combinations inside of this one, and something you can host, which means pay for yourselves, for your guests, is a signature drink.
Love those.
Those are so fun.
I love when people name them after their pets.
Yes.
They do
sketches.
They have 2 dogs and have one dog and this is their drink, or his and hers drinks. Those are super popular too.
Yes, those are popular. Or naming one after your guys' last name.
Yeah.
Something like that. And coming up with your own ingredients within it is fun,
so fun
too. Yeah, so you can host a signature drink and you cover a certain amount of those drinks for your guests, but if guests want a glass of wine or something, they pay for it. Another option too, you can host just beer and wine. and anything alcohol based, that's what your guests can pay for. And you can also host a certain level of alcohol. And level, I mean, like you have your first tier, top tier, well drinks versus top tier. So I don't even know vodkas anymore. Like Grey Goose and Tito's is more of your top, I feel, where well is Barton's. Do people still drink that?
I hope not.
I hope not. But one thing with hosting like alcohol, I would suggest is you still say no shots.
Don't do any shots.
People want to have a good time at the wedding, guys. They do. But the shots and those types of things, that just can come at a bar later on.
That's where it gets out of hand.
Yeah.
If they want shots, they can get them themselves.
And shots, I mean, they're going to bump up that bill fast. Like,
quick.
It takes a while for somebody to enjoy a cocktail versus a shot. So...
next up is drink tickets. We've all been to big events or small events or concerts where you get a drink ticket along with like your admission, if you will. So this would be like host and cash bar combination can go with this as well, but it's just having a drink ticket cover to a certain dollar amount for those drinks. Mm-hmm. So hand out to your wedding party, your close family throughout the night, and then they can go out to the bar and cash those tickets in to then get a drink. And then that also helps you keep the control as well, because then you decide, one, who gets those drinks, and two, how many you're giving out.
Right. I've noticed when my couples do drink tickets, the parents really like to hold the tickets. It's like, come talk to me. I have the power to give you a drink.
Her dad asked me for a shot.
Yes. And it like promotes like interaction and stuff, and it's good. It's good. And like you said, it's a good way to control it too.
Control. It's all about control.
Yes. Control the flow of alcohol. We're going to take a break and hear from our girl, Ashley Anderson, with This or That. She's going to give us another great tip like she always does. And we'll be right back.
Hey, it's Ashley with This or That. And today we're talking about late night snacks. If you are going to have a dance and you know that your crowd is going to be on that dance floor, I would highly encourage you to have a late night snack. Your crew is partiers. Let's get some food in their tummies, right? Like we have the dinner, that's awesome, but they are going to be killing it out there and they are going to want some sustenance to keep the party going. So you can do a variety of different things. Sometimes you can partner with your caterer that you had for dinner and they might offer pizzas or tacos or a nacho bar, something fun like that. Or if your venue allows, you can do something a little different. If you guys have a favorite fast food restaurant, maybe you want to order pizza in, maybe you want to hit up Taco Bell and bring in a bunch of tacos or a bunch of French fries. There's lots of different ways to do that, but I would highly encourage a late night snack. Your guests are going to love it.
Hi guys, we are back, and thank you, Ashley, again for another tip with This or That. And now it's back to the booze.
Back to the booze.
Yes, so let's go the other way around and
the
scary way and talk about open bar and dollar limit.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the difference between those two. So the open bar and dollar limit, meaning dollar limit is the highly recommended option with that. So open bar, again, to revisit that, it's when guests can get whatever they want, and then you pay the bill at the end of the night. Now, if you put a dollar limit on it, you can, that's like, say, I want to spend $2,000 for the bar, for my people, my guests. And so the bartender or the event lead, whoever that may be, can come up and let you know, hey, you've hit $2,000. What do you want to do? Do you want to turn it to a cash bar? Do you want to keep going? And it's nice knowing that there's a limit and it can be stopped. And if you want to keep going, you can. You have that option, but somebody's letting you know. Because what if you hit that $2,000 mark at like 8:30?
Yeah.
Or something, and you may want to keep going.
Right.
And the limits are really good. I suggest it again because I have a couple stories, and I won't say any names or dates or anything like that. But there was a wedding that we had, and they wanted to do open bar. And they did. And at the end of the night, there was like a $16,000 bar tab.
That is insane.
And it was, I mean, they were angry. They were like, how did this happen? And, it's just, you can only kind of guess so much.
Right.
like how much people are going to drink, and we'll tell you about that, some averages, but $16,000.
Yeah.
And on top of like what you've spent already at your wedding. And I mean, this was a huge wedding. There was like 400 plus people there. It was a heck of a party and and a heck of a bill to pay. So with that limit, you can, and it's just better even if you were to spend like $12,000, which is insane. But if you did and you planned on it, that's different.
Right. Then you're prepared for it.
Right.
Rather than like, you go to dinner and you order all the, you go to a restaurant, get a menu, and there's no prices on anything.
Scary.
And then you get a bill back and you're like, oh, how did it cost that much? That's exactly. It's because you didn't know. So how are you to know that your cousin from out of state is not going to literally drink the whole bar away? Like, you have no way to know that.
Right.
Unless you put that limit on it and then also say, okay, we're done.
Yeah, and another thing too, not only the bill for an open bar, but after 10 o'clock, the shots are coming out and it's just
getting wild.
There's messes in the bathroom. There's things happening that just shouldn't be happening. Family members don't need to see that. Mom doesn't need to see the groomsmen throw up on the dance floor.
Yeah, grandma.
Right. And so
maybe it is your grandma. So grandma, stop.
Yeah. And if people want to do that and get crazy, all right, get on the bus and head downtown. Yep.
Absolutely. And then the next one we're going to talk about is kind of the same thing, but a little bit of a different structure. So it's open bar and time limit. And I actually just had a wedding this season so far where they had an open bar, which is like they paid for all the drinks, but they only had it for the first hour. They only had it for their cocktail hour. So just that 1 hour. They were like, okay, from 4 to 5, it's an open bar. And after that, it's cash bar. And so it'd probably be the same thing as a dollar limit, right? They'd come up to you and say, okay, we're at 6 o'clock, but we still have a lot of people coming to the bar. Do you want to keep it open and pay for that? Or do you want to stop it and do a cash bar? It is a little more risky, obviously, because you don't know how much people will order in that time amount. So it's not like a fixed dollar amount where that's how much you're going to spend. If people hear it's an open bar for an hour, they're going to be like, okay, I'm going to go order 7 drinks to keep on the table for the whole night because I won't have to pay for them then. So, it really just depends on what you want and what your expectations are. Maybe your wedding's a little more laid back and most of your friends are wine drinkers and they only drink a couple glasses, then it's a little different. You can kind of gauge that, but it's still a lot more risky on that side of you don't know.
Right. And never announce, never have the DJ or a sign that says it's an open bar or that between this and this time that it is. They don't need to know that. They can just be pleasantly surprised when they go up and order their drink that it's covered.
And then, they're going to be at that was me. I found out it was an open bar and I was like, oh man, it's past that time. I didn't even get a drink. So, it's okay too for them to be bummed because then that probably means they needed to be controlled a little bit. So, it all works out in the end. And, like we said before, stop it at 10 o'clock. They say nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. At a wedding, nothing good ever happens after 10 p.m. if there's alcohol involved. So just know your limits. Know your friends' limits.
Yeah.
Our wedding, we had friends spraying Modelo. And, it was, getting wild, and it was, 9:30. And I was like, there's no way. I was like, I just had a Corona spilt on the bottom of my dress, and it is not even 10 o'clock. I was like, I feel like I have to be your mom and, get the rain out and be like, no more.
Right. And, you can still have fun. That's what makes for good stories like that, too. But there's just a line, and it all relates back to the alcohol and how that's handled.
Always.
So, after laying out all these options for you guys, I have a couple pointers on how to decide which one is the route for you to go. And so it starts with a general rule of thumb. 1 drink per person per hour is what you can kind of guesstimate for. And it all depends on your guest count. But there may be somebody that wants 3 an hour, and there may be some that doesn't drink at all. So that's kind of a good rule of thumb there. And so if you have 100 guests at your reception and it's going for 4 hours, the bar will be open or they can get drinks between that 4-hour time. You can plan on 400 servings of drinks.
Yeah, and I feel like when you break it down like that, it makes more sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And the average drink, which definitely depends on whatever venue you're at, but the average drink at a bar is about $6.
Yeah.
And that's without top shelf. So that's just
Right.
like
your generals.
Your general. So with our equation that we had, 400 times 6, so that's $2,400.
Yeah.
For a bar. And actually that's pretty average.
Right. And that's why like a lot of these venues, when you book them, they'll have a bar minimum. And I feel like when we got married, it was 2019, and I feel like everywhere we had looked at, the bar minimum was like $2,000.
Yes. Yep. 2,000 is a pretty good minimum, that, and a pretty average one. Yeah. And remember, to get to that one, each venue is different, but usually you can say, okay, I'm going to host beer and wine for $500, and then that $1,500 is cash bar.
Yep.
Guests can help you get to that minimum.
Right.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, at the end of the night, that's usually when you have to make all these bar payments.
Right.
And just be prepared for that, or have somebody, let dad, mom, whoever it may be that's taking care of it for you, know that that's coming. And unfortunately, it is at the end of the night when you've had some drinks, so you can either be like, great, sign away, and wake up in the morning and be like, wow, that was a $16,000 bar tab.
That's so funny, because at our wedding, one of our really good friends was buying drinks for everybody, and like, when I say everybody, I mean everyone. Like, my grandpa was up at the bar, like, drinking with him, and he came back and he's like, yeah, I mean, your grandpa, your best friend. And I was like, how? And the next morning he called. Yes, exactly. The next morning he called us and he's like, dude, I just found out on my card that my tab was like $680. And I was like, what were you doing? And he's like, well, I was having so much fun with your family that I was like, let me buy you a drink. And he's just a very giving person in general. So like, love language, right?
Yes,
just a gift
gifts.
giver. He just like was constantly just feeding out these drinks, just like with no care in the world. And he was like, you know what? It's good. It was fun. I had fun. It was worth it. And I was like, I hope so, because that's a big tab.
And you were also like, yes, and that's why I didn't have an open bar, or
why.
Yeah, because people like you. But thanks for buying my guests all those drinks.
Thank you for hosting my open bar.
Yes. At the end of the day, I mean, what do you guys think we think you should do? Whatever's best, whatever you think is best for you. And it's about celebrating with your people, and however you want to do that, and however that fits into your budget, you guys pick that for yourselves.
Absolutely. There's no right or wrong way to do the bar. No one's going to be mad at you for closing an open bar. Like, that's just insane if someone's going to be like, you had an open bar and now you don't. I'm upset. It's going to be okay. There's going to be a lot of people that just choose not to drink also, and that's totally okay as well. Like, have some fun options that are non-alcoholic. Make sure your soda options are available. I mean, there are so many different ways you can go with it, and it's a big part of the day and a small part of the day all at the same time. It's such a tiny detail that can make a huge difference.
Right.
If it's done right or wrong. So there's no right or wrong way to do it.
Yep, it's whatever fits for you guys. So I hope that helped you with your bar questions and maybe gives you a good plan on what you guys would like to do. Thanks for tuning in today.
And we will see you at the next party.
Yes. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Your Party People podcast. If you already love us, make sure to come back to the party every other Wednesday.
If you really love us, follow us on Instagram and Facebook at It's Your Party People Podcast. And make sure to let us know your thoughts on the show, and if you have any topics you want us to cover in a future episode. DM us on Instagram or email us at yourpartypeoplepodcast@gmail.com, and maybe we'll give you a shout out on the next episode. See you at the next party.
Bye.